hear the word pastor, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? Just blurt it out. Leader.
Shepherd.
Old person.
Old person.
Experience.
Discernment.
Communicator.
Seasoned.
Seasoned.
Integrity.
Integrity.
Contemporary.
Contemporary. Pastors are becoming more preoccupied with the shopkeeper concerns, okay? In other words, how do we keep the customers happy, okay? Than they are the work of the pastor. What do y'all think about that? Do you agree? Do you disagree?
They tend not to speak on something that's going to convict you. Or of course, the other extreme, they speak on things that are shock value. But
How do you know if you're a pastor?
I like to take care of the people that have been entrusted.
One of the things that points to it for me is just the fact that I have this unnatural openness about myself, maybe sometimes too much.
Here's how Eugene Peterson defines it. He defines the calling of a pastor as keeping the community attentive to God. Okay? What do you guys think about this definition?
Sounds difficult because in order to be keeping people attentive to God, you need to know exactly what God's trying to tell them.
There's three practices of the pastor that are so critical. There's a self component, there's a historical component of how God has moved throughout history, and then finally, the community or the person right in front of you. What do you guys think about these three things?
I think it's just a great base. Just prayer, you're just talking to God. Scripture, you can see what's worked in the past, what hasn't. And then Scripture is also like the historical component, like you said. So you can look back at things you've done in the past, what's worked, what hasn't. And they kind of get you to the spiritual direction, like where you want to take your congregation.
These are all three are very critical, okay? However, not a single one of them is public. And according to Eugene Peterson, these are the three most visible things when people think about a pastor. They preach, they teach, and they are administrative. Because the prayer, scripture, and spiritual direction are foundational and they'll set the course for everything else you do, that those in reality are more like the actual angles of the triangle. Because it's the angle that shapes the triangle, not just the fact that it has three sides. Does that make sense? So the angles then are prayer, scripture, and spiritual direction. And so many times we focus on the visible side of things. And actually we celebrate the visible side of things. We forget the fact that the invisible is what's going to shape the integrity of your entire ministry. He's saying that pastoral work, disconnected from these three practices, from the angles, it has no direction. So you can be the best preacher, the best teacher, really good administration, but your ministry has no direction because you aren't in tune with God. Back on this. What are your thoughts right now?
I know those things, but I've not seen them in that way, so it's pretty deep.
Let's say your prayer life isn't there. How are you going to know what scripture to teach on?
Yeah.
Then that whole side is gone. The preaching is gone. If that's going to fall, then the teaching is going to fall, and you're not going to have spiritual direction. You're going to have administration. You might as well be running a business.
by this model, all we should be seeing is the fruits that they're doing.
But he says if we are careless or dismiss the angles, no matter how hard we try, we aren't going to have a pastoral ministry. There is no other profession that is easier to fake than that of being a pastor. Because we celebrate the visible, but we forget about the invisible. And that's why, this is why we say, at this church and this department especially, that talent alone is not going to cut it. I have yet to find a passage where God is more pleased by the talent than he is the heart. So, these angles are the means through which you bring spirituality and integrity into your profession as a pastor. Any other final thoughts on this?
You threw out that number, 20 external and 80 internal. And I don't know, I just wonder how many, it's got to be a lot, if not the majority of people like at least from the congregational standpoint, that like they're looking for 80 external and 20 internal.
You know, our hope would be that through this summer internship that all of us make the decision that we're going to try to be pastors. You know, we're going to strive to go beyond just the talent, even beyond just the leadership, and actually go to the next level of pastors. That will be a people that are in the Word, that are in prayer, and that are giving spiritual direction to others.